What's going on, everyone? Today we are taking a look at a new Fat Tire e-bike. This is the Cirq Y1. Taking a look at the bike, I absolutely love the color of this bike. It has a very premium look to it, and it just looks like it costs a lot more than it actually does. Too many bikes these days go for a smooth, rounded off, kind of techie look, but as you can see, this has some very nice body lines here, which really makes the bike stand out. One other thing I really like about this bike is there are no off-brand parts. Too many bikes these days use the cheapest generic parts they can find to give you a more affordable bike. But as you'll see shortly, everything on this bike comes from a reputable name brand company. So diving into the specs, in back we have a 750 watt Bafang motor that has a peak of 1200 watts. On the other side, we have Tektro hydraulic brakes with 180 millimeter rotors. Hidden in the frame here at the bottom, we have a 16.8 amp hour battery, and this is also a 52 volt battery as well. Most bikes come with a 48 volt. Over the 48 volt, this is going to give you more torque and a little more range as well. In front, we have a RST guide front fork suspension, and then we have a 26 by 4 inch Kenda Fat Tire. Looking at the lights, we have a built-in headlight. It looks okay, but honestly, I don't think it's going to be that bright. And then on back of the bike, we have a tail light, which has decent brightness, but unfortunately, this one does not light up when you brake as well. Coming up to the bars, we have a little bell here. We have a 7-speed Shimano shifter. On the other side, you have your pedal assist up and down, power button, and then you have your thumb throttle here. Coming to the center, you have your screen. Honestly, it's a pretty basic looking screen. I do wish it was a little larger, but as you can see, it does have a large font on there. So up top, you have your speed, battery power, pedal assist level, and then your odometer. Only thing I wish it had was, instead of this battery icon, I would much prefer to see a voltage readout instead, as that's just a much easier and more accurate way to see your battery level. Last but not least, this e-bike weighs 80 pounds with the battery and has a max payload of 400 pounds. All right, so first impressions, this is not too bad when it comes to pedaling without the motor. It's not the easiest, but it's also not the worst either. If you ran out of battery, you're gonna put in a little bit of workout, but you're gonna be able to pedal back home no problem. I've had some e-bikes where they had so much resistance that you would get a full-on leg workout just from pedaling a half a mile, but fortunately this was not too bad. I wasn't sure if I was gonna like the seat on this bike because it looks like it was gonna be too firm, but this is actually a very comfortable seat. Some of these e-bikes have seats that look like they're gonna be a soft sofa cushion, but when you sit on it, it's just very unsupportive and wobbly. But yeah, this is definitely a nice seat as well. Whew, going up a hill now, so this is definitely a workout without the motor, but still doable. All right, I'm not trying to work out that much, so switch down this motor. Oh, this is a torquey bike. This got some immediate power off the jump. Ooh, this is gonna be a good bike. I can feel it now. This Bafang motor is definitely no joke. I've had some no-name 750 watt bikes, and some of those motors feel like they could be 350 watt motors because they just have no torque and they just take forever to get up to speed. But this one got some power to it. All right, so pedal assist 1 seems a lot faster than usual. With light pedaling, it's already pushing me about 16 miles per hour, which is pretty strange. That should be around 10 to 12 maybe, or even less. Let's see, pedal assist 2. Pedal assist 2 seems like it's letting off about 17 miles per hour. Pedal assist 3 was about 18.8, 19 miles per hour. So these pedal assist numbers are definitely tuned a lot higher. I did unlock this bike from the settings, so maybe that changed it a little bit. Pedal assist 4, about 19 and a half, 20 miles per hour. Go up to number 5. Still pretty connected with the bike, which is really good. Some of these bikes about 17, 18, you don't feel nothing anymore and you're just ghost pedaling. But this one, you're still nice and connected, about that 22 and a half mark. With decent pedaling, I was going a little bit under 23 miles per hour. So if you're pedaling like a madman, I'm sure you could probably reach to about 25, 26. As I said, I unlocked this bike. By default, it's limited to 20 miles per hour, but you just hold down this plus and minus, then you cycle through it, and right down here, it'll say speed on one of them, and then you just crank it up as high as it'll let you go, which I think is about 30 something like that. Suspension and tires feel really good. That's one of the great benefits about Fat Tire e-bikes. Even though you don't have a rear suspension, it still soaks up a lot of those bumps. And then this front suspension definitely feels good as well. Overall, nice and smooth ride so far. Obviously not going to be the same deal if you're
off-roading somewhere, but for regular commuting, nice and smooth. All right, let me find a clean stretch here so we can try out the top speed. It is going beyond 20, so that's good. A lot of these e-bikes, no matter how you unlock them, the throttle will be capped out at 20, but this one I can already see is letting me go past 20. Even right now, riding across this rough sidewalk, this feels like absolutely nothing for this bike. And if you want to make it even better on top of what it is, add a seat post suspension and this bike will be set to be extremely comfortable. All right, let's see, throttle only, top speed run. A little bit of wind, but we'll see what we can get anyways. Ooh, that's nice. It was already touching almost 29 miles per hour, so I'm gonna try it on the way back without the wind. And I feel like we can probably touch 30. Let me let that cop go so he doesn't see me racing behind him at 30. All right, here we go one more time, going the opposite direction. Already up to 24, 25, 26. Timing pretty quickly this way. 29, come on, come on, come on. 30. Touch 30 miles per hour. This bike goes to show that not all e-bikes are built the same. This is gotta be one of the best e-bikes around this price range. A lot of 750 watt e-bikes will barely touch 25, 26 on throttle only. This one did 30. And it doesn't stop dying down and slowing up until you hit about 25, 26. Before that, it's just all power. Oh man, not only does this bike look good, but this bike performs really well. I got a feeling right now, the price this bike is selling for is not gonna be the price for long. I feel like this is probably like a introduction price, because this bike should easily be around the $1,600 to $1,800 mark. But at the price is at right now, this is just an absolute steal for all name brand components. Great looking bike, 30 miles per hour on throttle. That's very impressive. And the reason why a lot of e-bikes cannot perform as quick and torquey as this one, because this is a 52 volt e-bike, which is really rare for this price range. There's no problem with a 48 volt e-bike, but once you get on a 52, you just feel that immediate difference in the torque department. And then as you can see, you also gain a little more top speed as well. This is a 16.8 amp hour battery, so it's pretty good range. If you're going quickly, you should be able to get somewhere around 20, 25 miles. And then if you're riding a lot slower or medium speeds, about 15-ish, you could probably get a 35 or 40. There's probably a few like real world range tests on this bike, but I would say always take those with a grain of salt, because range just varies completely on how fast you're going, the weather, what kind of terrain you're on, whether you're keep going or stopping and going. It's just like a car. It's really tough to say a range and say, okay, it's gonna get that many miles. On top of that, you have the rider weight. So even if someone says I'm riding at 15 miles per hour on flat terrain, blah, 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 unless you're the same exact weight as them, your range is always gonna be a little bit different. But in general, I'm usually happy with any e-bike about 13 amp hours and up. Below that, I don't like it too much, and that's where I start getting a little too much range anxiety. But that 13 amp hours and up, you can usually go for a longer ride and not have to worry too much. All right, so far this bike is absolutely checking all the boxes. I have no complaints about this bike, so the last thing to check on this will be the brakes. Let's see how these are. Fantastic brakes, skid that tire up no problem at all, but you can also get a nice and smooth stop. Hands down, a fantastic bike for this price. First time trying out a Cirq e-bike, but I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what they make next, because this is a really good bike. So if you're looking for an e-bike under 1,500 bucks that has a lot of speed, a lot of torque to it, 52 volt battery, good range, this one here is definitely a great option to look at. All right, well, that about wraps up this video. As usual, if you have any questions at all, feel free to drop me a comment and let me know. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.